Prochain arrêt, Palpatange. Distance, côté droit dans le sens de la marche.
Alright, so good morning, and yeah, we got some new shoes in for testing here. This is the New Balance Rebel 5, and I'm a very big fan of the V4. It's not perfect, but it's just, you know, my favorite type of shoe really. These very simple, lightweight, up-tempo daily trainers. And yeah, this V5 here, this has gone up in stack height. This has gone from 30 millimeters in the V4 up to 35, which I'm always a bit apprehensive about, but yeah, let's see how this runs. Yeah, the shoe still feels great, and it still has that Rebel V4 DNA where it's not like a bouncy shoe. Wouldn't call this super aggressive, but it's just this very smooth rolling kind of ride. It just feels like such a nice cruiser. Like, just, yeah, I get this feeling you can just take this out and just run for hours in this. So going from version 4 to version 5, I did have a few nitpicks with the version 4. Number one being the fit, especially in the forefoot. It was just so wide that even in my true to size, I was really swimming in it. And this V5 here, good news is they've definitely changed the last on this. This is now much more containing in the forefoot, and yeah, just feel much more locked in up front here. Number two on the V4 was the heel collar here, which did shred my Achilles just a little bit, and yeah, New Balance has worked on that as well. We now have quite a bit more cushion back here, and also I did not really like the super wide base of the shoe. And yeah, just looking at this, I mean, this is still very wide in the midfoot and in the heel, but actually the forefoot has gone back, and this is now noticeably less platform underfoot, and it does change the ride a bit. It's still very stable, but it just doesn't feel like you've got boats under your feet anymore. It's, yeah, just that little bit more nimble feeling.
Prochain arrêt, Merche.
So with the increase in stack height does come a bit of an increase in weight as well. It's now up to 201 grams versus 186 in the V4, which is honestly quite negligible, and I can't say that you really notice it on foot. And I think, you know, the added protection and the added bounce that this gives you is totally worth it in this case. And at barely 200 grams, this is still one of the lightest shoes out there, and basically exactly the same weight as the Evo SL, so the weight increase is pretty much a non-issue for me. So when I took this shoe out for its first run yesterday, one of the first things I noticed was that this V5 here is now a bit stiffer than the V4. And I mean, you can see that this is still quite flexible, but yeah, definitely not as much as the V4. And I think that's basically down to two things. Number one being, of course, the increase in stack height here. You know, more foam just means there's a bit more resistance there. And number two is that New Balance has added a bit more rubber to this outsole. It's a bit thicker, and we now have a full coverage in the forefoot, and I think increasing the stiffness on the shoe is definitely a good move. It still strikes a nice balance where you get a bit of ground feel and it feels relatively natural underfoot, but just takes away a bit of impact on the toes, and yeah, just feels a bit more supportive on easy runs.
Entrée en gare du train R11 vers Coblence via Trèves.
So with the increase in stack height, it's always something I'm a bit, I don't know, not a big fan of when brands do that, because it does seem like the trend right now, but I have to say this has probably been a pretty positive change. I mean, you just feel like there's just a bit more cushion, or just a deeper level of cushion here, which I don't know, it's just feeling like there's a bit more protection here, and I think makes this shoe, yeah, probably a bit more universal. And I did notice that on my long run yesterday, on my 24K, just didn't feel the ground as much, but still has that very light DNA. Yeah, it's maybe not the most responsive foam in the world. It's not like the Lightstrike Pro or Zoom X or something like that, but I think this has just enough bounce that you feel like you're not squishing into this too much, and just springs you back just enough there, and it just feels like a very balanced ride that is, you know, neither a very slow shoe but not super aggressive either, and I think makes it quite versatile. I mean, okay, I wouldn't use this for a speed session, but I think if you wanted to, then you certainly could, just because it's so light underfoot, and yeah, it just feels like a shoe that you can really do a lot of different things in. Yeah, this is actually quite an easy video for me to make, because I don't really have anything to criticize on this Rebel 5 here. New Balance made an excellent shoe here, and I mean, okay, you can say that this foam is not amazing, and it isn't, but have to keep in mind that this is a daily trainer. It's not meant to be super aggressive and super bouncy. That's not really what I want from a daily trainer. I just want something nice and simple and comfortable and light, and it is those things, but still you have this one extra gear to it that you can go a bit quicker in this thing. Yeah, this shoe falls very much in line with other shoes like the Hoka Mark 6 or the Pegasus Plus or the Evo SL, of course. That's, you know, it's really my favorite type of shoe. Just these daily trainers that feel like they have that one extra gear to them that something like Nike Pegasus or the Supernova Rise don't, because those are very much restricted to your easiest runs only for me. Yeah, this one just, it's just light enough and just has that little bit of response to it that you can definitely take this on something a bit quicker, and yeah, you just feel like it just gives you a little bit more fun factor and just a little bit more bounce to your step. Alright, so yeah, I think that's it here on the New Balance Rebel 5, and you'll definitely see more content on this soon, as I think New Balance did a great job with this one. I think they really tweaked the little things that needed to be tweaked, like the fit and the wide base on this shoe, and at the same time, by adding more stack height, I think they've made this a more comfortable and more usable shoe, and yeah, I'm very, very happy with this one. So yeah, hope you found this entertaining, and like and subscribe as always, and see you soon.